Get that piece of trash off my range. Staff Sergeant Damien Cross's voice cracked like a thunderclap across Fort Benning, silencing the chatter of 200 soldiers. Every head turned toward Lane 15, where a small woman in grease-stained coveralls stood clutching an M4 carbine that looked like it had been dragged out of a battlefield grave. The barrel pitted with rust, duct tape choking the stock, the handguard split down the middle. Naomi Carter, barely 5'3", looked more like someone who fixed rifles than someone who fired them. The annual marksmanship competition wasn't built for women like her. It was built for rangers, killers, legends, and yet here she was, stepping into an arena where humiliation wasn't just expected, it was guaranteed. "Hey, Cross, looks like maintenance raided the junkyard." Sergeant Kendra Blake sneered from the bleachers, her laugh slicing through the air. The crowd roared with cruel delight as Naomi's trembling hands made the broken weapon quiver. Damien strutted forward, towering over her like a wolf stalking prey, his ranger tab flashing in the Georgia sun. "Lady, this isn't a charity raffle. This is where real warriors compete. Desk jockeys don't belong here." Naomi said nothing. She just shifted her grip on the rifle, her fingers trembling in a way that only Range Officer Daniels noticed. There was something eerie in her stance, the way her boots locked into the dirt, the way her breathing slowed. He leaned in, unsettled. Nobody else saw it. Nobody else understood that those shaking fingers were seconds away from rewriting everything. If Naomi's humiliation already hits you in the chest, don't scroll. Smash like, subscribe, and share, because this is about to turn into a story no one in that crowd will ever forget. The morning had started long before the sun for Naomi, as it had every day since her transfer 3 months ago. At 04:30, in the dim silence of her quarters, she went through her routine like clockwork. Shower, uniform, and the small orange bottle. Her hands quivered as she twisted the cap. Nerve damage. Permanent, a cruel souvenir of a past no one here knew. The experimental medication dulled the tremors but never killed them. She'd been at the range an hour before anyone else, slipping into the disposal bin to retrieve a weapon scheduled for destruction. Most people saw scrap metal. Naomi saw something else. A test. She cleaned it in the pre-dawn silence, the motions automatic, ritualistic, echoing 1,000 times over in places where precision meant survival. Now, standing in the blaze of daylight with 200 pairs of eyes drilling into her, Naomi let them believe what they wanted. A fragile woman with shaking hands. A junk rifle taped together. "Easy prey!" "Range Officer Daniels, you can't let this stand," Damien barked, jabbing a finger at her. "She'll blow her own head off." Daniels hesitated. He'd seen thousands of shooters pass through this competition in 15 years, and something about Naomi's quiet precision gnawed at him. When she'd brass-checked the chamber earlier, it wasn't the clumsy motion of an amateur. It was muscle memory. Still, rules were rules. "I'll need to inspect that rifle," Daniels said. Naomi handed it over without a word. His frown deepened with every check. The barrel was warped, the stock barely clinging under duct tape. The trigger creep was obscene. "This thing had no right to be fired. Non-serviceable," he declared. "I can't allow Section 432, Naomi cut in softly, her voice quiet but sharp as steel. "Any rifle capable of chambering and firing NATO rounds is permitted, regardless of condition." Daniels blinked, caught off guard. Few soldiers knew the rulebook that well. Most officers didn't. He chambered a round, fired, and watched it spit wild downrange. Junk, yes, but functional. He handed it back reluctantly. "She's right." "But ma'am, you won't hit a thing with this." Naomi checked the chamber again with that same uncanny motion that made his skin prickle. Where had he seen that before? Damien wouldn't let it drop. His squad had ruled this competition for 3 straight years. The idea of being mocked by a maintenance clerk? Unthinkable. He stepped closer, his size blotting out the sun. "Listen, maintenance," he growled, breath hot in her face. "This is where legends are made, not imposters." Naomi didn't move. "I paid my entry fee. I have the right to compete." Calm, unshaken, that only enraged him further. He wasn't used to defiance. "Fine," he spat. "But when you crash and burn, don't say I didn't warn you." He turned to his squad. Ladies and gentlemen, our opening act, Maintenance Thinks She's a Warrior. Laughter erupted. Phones lifted, captions already being typed. This wasn't competition anymore. This was blood sport. Sergeant Kendra Blake already had her live stream running, her 20,000 Instagram followers waiting for the comedy gold of Naomi's failure. But none of them noticed the sleek wrist brace gleaming under the sun as Naomi steadied her rifle. To most, it looked like a medical crutch. To a trained eye, it was cutting-edge tech, carbon fiber, micro-servo adjustments, the kind of stabilization rig combat surgeons once used under fire. A device designed to cancel tremors up to 8 hertz. A device that shouldn't even exist outside black-budget programs. But to the mocking crowd, it was just proof she was broken. Daniels called out lane assignments, and Damien shoved Naomi aside. Real soldiers pick first. You get leftovers. Naomi's eyes didn't flicker. Lane 15 is mine. First come, first served, the squad snickered. Corporal Ryan Vega barked a laugh. Maybe she memorized the rulebook while scrubbing toilets. Leave her alone, a small voice cut in. Private Maya Lopez, barely out of basic, stepped forward. Her heart was pounding, but she said it anyway. She has the right to compete. Kendra pounced. Oh, look, the newbie found her voice. Specialist Aaron Cole swaggered closer, grinning. Cute, the weak defending the weak. Naomi gave Maya the faintest nod. Thank you, Private. But I can handle this. Oh, she can handle this? Damien mimicked, pitching his voice high as he kicked Naomi's range bag. Ammo spilled across the concrete. Phones zoomed in. Hashtags were forming in real time, but veterans in the crowd froze when they saw how Naomi picked up each round, not by handfuls, but with deliberate checks, inspecting brass and primers with the kind of care that meant the difference between life and death in places that didn't officially exist. From the observation deck, Master Sergeant Paul Grayson leaned forward, eyes narrowing. He knew that movement. Those trembling hands guided by ingrained precision. He had seen that before, in a place no record acknowledged. And it made his blood run cold. Colonel Richard Hale had arrived too, scanning personnel files on his phone. Naomi Carter, specialist, maintenance, transfers, gaps, redactions. Nothing added up. And yet here she was, setting her mat with surgical precision as if the entire range were a battlefield. Range is hot! Daniel shouted. Shooters, you have 2 minutes. Fire when ready! The Rangers unleashed hell, rounds punching tight groups into paper. Naomi lay still, motionless, tremors sinking with her heartbeat. 10 seconds, 20. The crowd whispered, was she frozen? Scared? About to choke? Then Sergeant Kendra Blake shouted, Hey, maintenance, what are you waiting for? The noise too much for you? Need someone to hold your hand? Damien Cross sneered. Still, Naomi Carter didn't fire. She studied the wind, not the obvious flags every rookie relied on, but the shimmer rising off the concrete, the twitch of a paper scrap near the berm, the drifting dance of dust specks. Her damaged nerves couldn't keep her hand steady, but her mind worked like a machine. At the 30-second mark, she squeezed. Dead center bullseye, a fluke, the Rangers muttered. With that warped rifle and shaking hands? No way she'd repeat it, but the second shot kissed the first, so tight it looked like one hole. The laughter faltered. Ryan Vega lowered his binoculars, frown deepening. Wind must have dropped, he said weakly. A third shot punched the center. By the fifth, a ragged hole bloomed in the bullseye, and the range went silent. Master Sergeant Paul Grayson shifted his binoculars, not at the target, but at Naomi herself. She fired between heartbeats, her tremors sinking with perfect timing. It wasn't just skill, it was art. High-speed tracking cameras mapped every projectile, trigger pressure, barrel drift, recoil. Daniels checked the readout, jaw tightening. This isn't luck, he whispered. She's correcting for a 3.7-inch drift at 100 meters without touching her scope. Colonel Richard Hale leaned in, color draining from his face. That kind of instinct came from one place, combat. Naomi finished her string with flawless precision. 10 shots, 1 minute, 47 seconds. Perfect 100. Fired with a rifle that should have been scrap. The hush shattered. Damien Cross barked, "Equipment malfunction! System's wrong!" Daniels shook his head. "Diagnostics are clean. I can pull the footage. You'll see every round." "Then she cheated," Aaron Cole snapped, doubt creeping into his tone. "How do you cheat in front of cameras?" Kendra Blake muttered, her voice lacking conviction. Everyone knew the truth. Luck could give you one miracle, not 10 consecutive. Private Maya Lopez smirked faintly. She'd been watching Naomi for weeks. The way she cleared corners instinctively. The way she tore down weapons faster than the armorers. The way her tremor seemed like camouflage for something deeper. "Second round, rapid fire 30 in 30 seconds, Daniels called. This was different. Precision was one thing. Rapid fire was survival under pressure. Damien swaggered near her lane, sneering. "Cute parlor tricks. But real soldiers thrive in speed. Watch and learn, maintenance." Naomi calmly inspected her magazines, eyes sharp. Feed lips, springs, alignment, movements drilled by repetition in places where a bad mag meant a coffin. Ryan Vega snickered. "Heard she applied for Ranger School. Got bounced before she even tried. Some people don't know their place." A lie. Naomi had never applied. Her training came from shadows, instructors whose names never appeared on paper. She let him talk. The truth wasn't his to know. The drill began. The range thundered as Rangers fired controlled pairs. Naomi's rhythm was alien. She fired flowing bursts, tremor turning into cadence, her rifle dancing in harmony, magazine change, fluid, lightning fast. Empty mag hadn't hit dirt before the next was locked and firing. Aaron Cole started to jeer, then froze. Every shot struck home. Not just hits, surgical patterns. Headshots at 50 meters, center mass at 100, disabling triads at 150. Pelvis, chest, head, kill patterns, devastating, deliberate. Phones stopped recording. Kendra's live stream hung forgotten. Even Damien's bravado cracked. Fear crept in. This wasn't luck. This wasn't an amateur. This was a predator. Grayson's phone buzzed. Ghost pattern confirmed at Benning Main Range. Move now. Within minutes, unmarked SUVs rolled up. Men and women in civilian clothes but military bearing slid into the crowd, silent, watchful. Naomi finished her string with 3 seconds to spare. 30 rounds, 30 surgical kills. Daniels announced scores with trembling voice. The bleachers hushed, eyes wide. Naomi sipped water, tremor unhidden, calm as steel. Colonel Hale's face was tight. He'd made calls of his own. What he'd heard turned this from a competition into something far more dangerous. Break time. Damien approached, hollow of swagger now. "Listen, maintenance, that rifle's unsafe. I should file a safety complaint." Naomi looked at him, steady, cold. Predator's calculus in her eyes. "Do what you think is best, Sergeant." The weight of her words made him stumble back a step, skin prickling. Whispers crackled around them. Veterans piecing together shooting patterns. Officers making hushed calls. Rangers sweating as the cracks in their confidence widened. Naomi sat silent, checking her rifle. They thought they'd mocked weakness. Instead, they'd provoked something far greater. Then came the announcement, "Moving targets." 60 seconds, range 50 to 200 meters. The crowd leaned in. This wasn't a game anymore, it was revelation. Naomi stood, broken rifle against shoulder, scanning not just the targets, but the crowd, cataloging threats like she'd done it her entire life. The first target popped. Others aimed, tracking. Naomi fired once into empty air. The target walked into her bullet and dropped. Predictive shooting. Gasps spread, another target. Another perfect shot. 2 at once, 2 shots so tight they rang as one. Both targets dead. By the end, she cleared the sequence in 37 seconds. Every target destroyed. Every shot impossible. Daniels stared at the data, face pale. "She's not just skilled," he breathed. "This is art," his voice cracked as he declared. "Final round after equipment check. Drone targets." The words sent ripples through the crowd. Drone targets were infamous, fast, evasive, nearly unbeatable. The record, 3 drones down in 45 seconds, by 2 special ops soldiers working together. And now, Naomi Carter, the trembling maintenance clerk, was about to take them on alone. Then Damien Cross snapped. Pride couldn't survive the truth. He stepped forward, booming for all to hear. "Forget rifles. Hand-to-hand combat. Let's see if our maintenance girl can fight like a real soldier. The crowd stirred, uneasy. This wasn't competition anymore, it was desperation. That's not regulation, Daniels began. But Damien cut him off, taunting Naomi with a sneer. Or are you scared? The air grew thick with tension. Naomi placed her rifle down with deliberate care. I didn't come here for this, she said softly. Nobody does, Damien pressed. But real soldiers are ready. What's it going to be, Carter? Hide behind rules? Colonel Hale opened his mouth to stop it, but Naomi interrupted. It's fine, sir. If he needs this, I'll oblige. The crowd parted. Damien stripped down, flexing muscled arms inked with ranger tattoos, confidence dripping from every movement. Naomi removed only her jacket. No warm-ups, no theatrics, just trembling hands at her side. Submission or knockout, Damien smirked. Whatever you like, Naomi answered. He charged. Bull rushed to crush her instantly, but she wasn't there. Sidestep, subtle, efficient. Momentum carried him past. Light touch redirected him into a stumble. Rage twisted his face. He swung wild. Naomi slipped beneath it with surgical precision. Fight me! Damien roared, jabs and crosses unleashed. Naomi circled, footwork impeccable, making him work for every punch. Then he clipped her shoulder, ripping her shirt as he grabbed to throw her. Fabric tore wide, and the world froze. Across her chest, inked in black, spread a massive eagle clutching a sniper rifle. Each feather etched with initials. Below, words carved into skin like scars. Death from above. Ghost Squadron. Nunquam oblitus. Never forgotten. A shiver ripped through the crowd. Veterans went rigid, saluting instinctively. Hale's face went white. Grayson stepped back. Someone whispered, Ghost Eagle, and the words spread like wildfire. Damien's grip slackened, terror dawning on his face. Everyone in Special Ops knew the stories. Ghost Squadron, 6 operators, 1 survivor. Rumors said she died. Rumors of an eagle tattoo where every feather carried a name. Ghost 001. The woman who fought for 17 hours, shot 11 times, dragging her dead team out of hell. Naomi Carter stood in the torn shirt, tattoo blazing, trembling hands steady as iron at her sides. She didn't cover up. She didn't explain. She just waited. Damien stumbled back, cocky mask shattered, voice breaking. I didn't know. No, Naomi said quietly. You didn't. Colonel Hale finally found his voice, booming with command. What you see before you is Master Sergeant Naomi Carter. Ghost 01, 17 deployments. 127 confirmed kills. The only survivor of Ghost Squadron. He paused, locking eyes on Damien. And the squad she saved that day was yours. Rangers, you live because Ghost Squadron died in your place. Silence crushed the range. Damien dropped to his knees. Kendra's phone slipped from her hand. Ryan Vega's smirk evaporated. Aaron Cole shrank back, pale as ash. Jake Morris, the youngest, was the first to break. Oh, God. Jake Morris whispered, face pale. What did we do? Naomi Carter's gaze softened for a heartbeat. You acted on what you saw, a broken soldier, broken gear. You weren't wrong. Stop! Master Sergeant Paul Grayson's voice cut through the hangar like steel. They mocked you. They dishonored what you gave. They didn't know, Naomi said quickly. And whose fault is that? Captain Dana Wells stepped forward, her JAG insignia catching harsh light. Every head turned. Her voice was sharp, surgical. Sergeant Carter, Operation Blackout. The enemy had precise intel on your team's position. The trail leads here. The hangar shifted. Dana's words hung heavy. Unusual deposits 5 years ago. Encrypted communications never fully traced. Every clue. Back to Fort Benning. Back to this unit. Ryan Vega made a strangled noise, hand darting to his sidearm. Naomi's hand clamped it down before it cleared the holster. Don't. It won't fix anything. You knew, Vega whispered. I suspected, Naomi corrected. Final transmission warned of compromised intel. After recovery, I came here. Maintenance. Because nobody questions maintenance. For 3 months, I watched, I listened. Today, I confirmed it. Her eyes cut fire into him. The lies about my rifle ranger school, only someone with clearance could invent those files. including blackout parameters. Aaron Cole bolted. 3 strides in, a dark-suited operative intercepted him with a hand on his shoulder. He froze. Corporal Vega, Specialist Cole. Captain Wells's voice was iron. You are under arrest. Espionage, conspiracy, treason. 6 special operations soldiers killed. The arrests were swift. Clean. Vega sagged, almost relieved. Cole collapsed into tears. The rest of the unit stood frozen, pride shattered. Damien Cross remained on his knees. Kendra Blake rigid, tears streaking her face. Jake Morris collapsed, disbelief weighing him down. Daniels whispered, voice trembling. The drone round. Do you want to continue? Naomi glanced at her torn shirt, her scarred tattoo, the broken rifle. Might as well finish it. Private Maya Lopez stepped forward, steady. She removed her jacket, handed it to Naomi. A nod. Gratitude flickered. Naomi returned to the line. The operators hesitated. Daniels nodded to Colonel Hale. Hale gestured sharply. Continue. 5 drones tore into the sky, darting like hornets. Naomi lifted her rifle, trembling hands suddenly impossibly steady. First drone, gone. Second, shattered. Third, hidden, rotor tips visible, eliminated. Fourth and fifth, a high-low pincer. 2 shots, seamless. Both down. Let 'em point 7 seconds. Record obliterated. Naomi lowered her weapon, tremors rushing back. Safed rifle laid down. Silence filled the hangar. I came for truth, she said softly. Now my brothers can rest. From her bag, a worn photograph, 6 figures in shadowed gear. Fingers traced each. Voice breaking. Reynolds, Baker, Park, Thompson, Williams, Chen. 6 warriors betrayed. They died fighting an enemy. That matters, Damien's voice cracked. We didn't know. Naomi's gaze burned into him. If you had, shown respect, not mocked my scars, your cruelty revealed you long before my identity did. Kendra Blake's tears ran freely. We can change. We will. Naomi's reply was quiet, final. Then do it. Not for me. For the next broken soul. For the next invisible scars. For the next warrior who doesn't fit your idea of strength. She packed with shaking hands, still precise. The crowd parted silently, some saluted, some avoided her eyes. Colonel Hale stepped forward. Sergeant Carter, Washington will want answers, recognition. This case, your sacrifice, won't stay buried. Naomi gave the saddest smile. Pain greets me every morning. Nightmares drag me into fire nightly. I don't need recognition. She looked once more at the broken Rangers, Cross crumbling, Blake shattered, Morris empty. Eyes lifted to the sky. Tell them Ghost Squadron finished its mission. 6 warriors can rest. And she walked away. Her battered pickup waited. She loaded her bag. Maya Lopez appeared. Ma'am, thank you. For teaching us. Naomi studied her. You stood up for me before knowing who I was. That's real courage, Maya whispered. It takes more courage to hide who you are to uncover the truth. Naomi reached into her pack, pulled a scarred challenge coin, Ghost Squadron emblem, and placed it in Maya's hand. Keep it. Strength isn't loud voices or steady hands. Sometimes it's enduring. Maya clutched it. Yes, ma'am. Naomi climbed into the truck, engine roaring. She drove toward the horizon. Rearview mirror showed chaos, soldiers shouting, truth sinking in. None of it mattered anymore. At first stoplight, her phone buzzed. Unknown number, other ghosts survived. Moscow G7 hands trembled, not from nerve damage this time. Ghost 7, Patterson. Teammate never found. She deleted the message slowly, then smiled. A broken smile. Because broken things can still fire straight. And maybe the war isn't finished. If you were Naomi, could you have faced them? Drop your answer in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more epic stories of courage and resilience. Join the movement. Black Nation strength is where legends are remembered and heroes are made.